This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Mike Irwin joining us from Pig Trail Nation here on Halftime. Always appreciate his time. Before we bring him on, I want to read a statement here from Brian Kelly speaking to media this afternoon or this morning, talking about that last drive, which LSU won on the field goal. And, and you're all thinking, you let him score a touchdown. Sam Pittman did think of that as well. Didn't think that LSU would actually try to score. Brian Kelly's statement is, quote, "I had no intention of giving them the ball back. I don't know if you guys wanted to, but I didn't. So it was really just a matter of when we call barrier, we're not looking to score or looking to score a touchdown in that instance. We wanted to take time off the clock and put ourselves in good position. We have great faith in Ramos. We got it down to 5 seconds. It worked out pretty good." I'm seeing the LSU running back, his feet driving. It looked like he was trying to score, but he never got close enough to actually go down to one knee. So I understand Sam Pittman's reasoning for not for getting him to try to tackle him to the ground. I wonder what you were thinking. And now that we've heard from Brian Kelly, what do you think?
Well, I mean, Kelly's on the other side of the field. He doesn't know for sure what their strategy is, but he said he didn't think they were going to try to score. And I think that whole situation was controlled by the fact that Arkansas had no more timeouts left. That took away your options. It gave them all the options. I think he knew that. You can see on that one play you just described, when I look at it, I see Arkansas in there trying to force a fumble. They jammed around the guy. You can't see inside there to see what's happening, but I'm guessing there were a lot of hands in there trying to pull the ball away. That's what he said. At that point, we had to try to force a turnover rather than just let these guys score. And again, if they did score, you got maybe a minute left, probably a little less. You got to go 75 yards. You got no timeouts. So I think the lack of Arkansas having timeouts and LSU having theirs controlled that situation.
Armstrong, Tesla, Luke Haas, DeBinion. How do you think our skill guys did against LSU?
Yeah, I liked all of that. What I was impressed with, Matt, because I looked, DJ Williams on our game day show did a breakdown of the offensive line against BYU, and it was depressing. I'm looking at that stuff, and I'm saying, how in the world can Arkansas win more than 2 or 3 games the rest of this season with an offensive line that looks that bad? It's as bad as I've seen. Guys on their butts, 2 and 3 of them in a pass blocking situation, no offensive push, and the turnaround was amazing. Guys, they had 9. I'm going to say that again. They had 9 first downs on the ground. They were getting pushed for the first time this year. The pass blocking wasn't awesome, but KJ threw for almost 300 yards. They did a lot of things. They modified the offense. The play calling was different. They had him move more. And the tweaking that they did just made all the difference in the world. Now, I have no idea what they'll do this week, but if you play like that, and this is just my opinion, because I've watched A&M and LSU, watched every game they played this year, because you can watch these games on a replay when you're at home at night, in the morning, or whatever. I'm just telling you, it's my impression that LSU is quite a bit better than A&M. I think the defenses are comparable. The two teams are comparable defensively. But I think LSU's got a better quarterback, and I think they've got a better offense. So I think Arkansas's got a good shot at winning this game. You win that, maybe you go down and beat LSU, and then who knows what Alabama's going to do. They seem to be getting better. But I feel a lot better right now than I did before that game was played.
As far as balance goes and talent, too, specifically with your receivers, I just don't think you face another offense that's as good as them. And Jaden Daniels is an improved quarterback from last year. I don't think there's any doubt. He is much better as a quarterback. He throws the deep ball about as good as anybody in this league right now. So, you gave up. You had trouble stopping them for those last 6 drives, but I think a lot of teams will have trouble. Can this defense perform better against A&M next week? We don't know who's a quarterback for them. It's probably going to be Max Johnson. They've got a couple of good receivers too, but I don't think you face another team that's as dangerous offensively as LSU was.
Yeah, they're a little bit inconsistent. That's what got them beat against Florida State. And you saw that on the first maybe 3 possessions of the first half. They've had some problems with their receivers dropping passes, but once they scored in 2 plays right before the half, from that point on, I'm not sure I've seen it. You go back to that national championship team that they had. This looked like that team offensively. Quarterback was putting the ball right on. His reads were very quick. He didn't give Arkansas time, even with a blitz, to get to him. So his reads are quick. He's putting it on target. Their guys are getting open, and their pass blocking was like watching a clinic. Everybody's blocking, even their running backs. So at some point, and I know people say, you're drinking the Kool-Aid. You're trying to convince all of us that there's not a problem. But I just go by what I see. And I saw an LSU team in the second half just really put on a show. And I'm just stunned that Arkansas matched them score for score until that field goal was kicked.
Yeah, I'm with you. If we'd have had a little more time on the clock, I think we could have. Both teams were kind of getting a little tired. Mike, when you look at this A&M team, you got to think advantage Arkansas at the quarterback position. Petrino is an offensive wizard on that side of the ball, but A&M's kind of. I mean, what are they going to do at the quarterback position? How do you give the chance? Do you give the Hogs a chance to beat A&M?
Yeah, I think they got a good chance. I watched that A&M game that morning. I went back home after we did our game day show and watched TV until I had to come back for the Arkansas game, and I watched all of that A&M game. Now the weird thing is, Wegman was stinking it up, guys. He was, and then it's like everything that happens. Watching that, I'd much rather them face him than Max Johnson. Now I don't know what's going to happen there with that injury, but Johnson came on it and really gave them a spark. Now will he do it again? I don't know, but he's not Daniels. I'm telling you, he's just not. They don't have a quarterback that good, and they do have an advantage of having Petrino to call plays. But I just think you're going to see a better effort out of the defense this week. I don't think it's as difficult an environment. Arkansas fans who've never been to Death Valley, never been down on that field, I have many times. I'm telling you, it's really weird. The stands kind of go, the first 2 or 3 rows go all the way down a little bit below field level, and you're just surrounded by noise. It's just a wall of noise. You can't. I've stood out there and not been able to communicate with a person standing next to me, especially if you're close to the end zones, either end zone. So you're not going to get that in Jerry World this week. It's not going to be anywhere near that disruptive, noisy, or whatever. So I just think they got a much better shot of winning this game than they did the LSU game, and they just took LSU right down to the wire. I mean, that part of it is impressive to me because I know what that place is like at night. And I think this is a really good LSU team.
Mike, one thing that does concern me is that there's a pattern of losing the close games. Sam Pittman was talking about all the close losses from last year. We got to find a way to win those games in 2023. Well, now it's back-to-back losses by 3 points. And if you look in the last 14 games, 1-6 in games decided by 3 points or less. So, and I agree. I was impressed that Arkansas played well enough that it was a game that they woulda, coulda, shoulda won, but still didn't. And what the pattern to me right now shows is Arkansas over these last 14 games has played just well enough to lose a game that maybe they should have won.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody in the media. He didn't give me permission to use his name, so I'm not going to say who it was. But he was sort of passing off on me his theory that when you're a lineman type coach, an O-lineman type coach, you don't have the decision-making ability in situations like that say an ex-quarterback would have as your head coach or somebody that's been an offensive coordinator. So he's laying these close losses up on Pittman's inability to come up and do the right things in critical situations. And some of it would be, if you were talking to some fans, they would say, yeah, they screwed up there at the end by not letting them score, even though I think you've made a pretty good case for the fact that wouldn't have worked because LSU had no intention of scoring. But that is something to consider. that they keep losing these close games. And some people are putting that on Sam Pittman. A lot of the fans are, and I can't argue with them. I don't know, but I'm not going to say they're wrong.
What do you know about Rocket's situation? Apparently at Coach Pittman's Monday presser, there was no update. He'll be reevaluated again today. And, man, it kind of felt like they got a little bit of an update last week, a return to practice, but not 100%. So it's like 3 weeks in a row of kind of hearing some of the same stuff. And sooner or later, you're either going to get on the field or we may not see you. You know anything going on with Rocket?
No, they haven't leaked anything out. I think a lot of us feel like he got scoped, that he had loose cartilage in that knee, and we're just basing that on the way this thing has come down. A scope usually is a 2 to 3 week rehab, but it varies on whoever you're talking about. They go in with that arthroscopic thing where it's a little puncture, and they go in and suck out all that loose cartilage from the knee. And a lot of people think he had that all the way back. That was the issue in the bowl game, and if it was, I don't know why they didn't correct it in the off season. But I still think if it's cartilage and he got scoped, he's going to be back maybe this week. If it's something else, then I don't know.
Yeah, that was my question too, Phil. Was did it happen back in the Liberty Bowl last year? And if it's the same knee, and I don't know if we ever got. They've been pretty hush hush about it. I don't know. Once you get this late into the season, you don't really expect much out of him. Yeah, I mean, if he comes back, it's a bonus because it's kind of like the Nick Smith situation in basketball. It's like, once he's been gone 4 or 5 weeks, man, everybody's already kind of got what's going on, and if you can sprinkle him back in, that would be awesome. But everybody else has to step up.
Yeah, and it's been interesting to watch the response because I don't think they know yet who their guy is because they keep changing it. It looked like A.J. Green. He had that touchdown against BYU early, and now all of a sudden he's been replaced by Dominion. Some people are saying, "Where's Dominic Johnson?" It looks like to me that it's a trial and error thing. Let's stick somebody out there and see what they do, and if they do well, we'll let it stick. But I will say that Dominion wasn't just KJ. Dominion played a role in those 9 first downs on the ground, and the offensive line did because they were getting a push. And that was critical to keeping some of those drives alive.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.